Now that I've been a mum for 8 months, there are a lot of things top of mind that I've experienced, that I've gone through, or that I kind of like figured out as I went along that I wish I knew before I had my baby. I wrote a really long list and I'm going to share as many as I can with you. I'm just gonna jump right into it. I wish there was a way to truly explain this different kind of love. It truly is such a unique and like deep sort of love. My mom was always like, you'll understand one day when you have a kid. To me, before having my baby, my dog Milo was my baby. And I thought, I love him like he would be my baby, but the love is so different. Obviously, I still love him a lot, but it's also like a very protective kind of love. Just this overwhelming feeling of not wanting anything to happen to her. The next thing would be nursing bras. What I tend to like a lot is not the bras with clips, and it's just some that are kind of like that, like a crisscross that you can like easily just open to one side. My next one is probably like the main thing that I would want someone to take from this video, and that is taking a CPR and choking course or researching online and just becoming very familiar with CPR and choking. I remember like watching videos either right when she was born or right before she was born when I was pregnant of the proper way to hold your baby if they're choking and like how to pat their back and that sort of thing. There's been situations that I've just been glad that I researched that. I haven't taken a course or a class yet, but I still want to. It's just so important and can literally be life-saving. So if you haven't, I would absolutely look into a choking CPR first aid course of some kind. Something I will say, speaking from experience, is to make sure all stickers are off everything that you own. Specifically bath toys, like something like this that just looks like a barcode, make sure all of those are off. Another thing while we are in the bathroom, I don't know, you guys will have to let me know, other mums, if this is accurate for you as well. Do you feel like you got smelly after birth? I need to kind of preface, I got the vid a month or two before falling pregnant. A side effect from having that is losing like taste and smell. I never lost my taste, but I lost my smell. When it started to come back was when I was pregnant, and so I think that made it worse because everything throughout my whole pregnancy smelled so weird, and so I think it was a mix of the two. Now that I'm not pregnant anymore, I still feel like I smell weird. I need to ask Gabe actually. I need to ask him to smell me. This is really weird. Even sometimes when I pee, I'm like, no, this is, I'm already here. This is TMI. Sometimes I'm like, why does that smell like Micaiah's diaper? But it doesn't. Like, I think that's in my head. I just think sometimes I'm like very cautious of like, okay, let's put deodorant on today. And I don't know if that's my post vid still here. You guys will have to let me know if like maybe smelling funny is a real thing. I saw this TikTok recently. It was this girl and she was like, as much as I want to be this girl, I am this girl. And I felt that so deeply. I could do this and like put my hair in place and then 2 seconds later do that. Side note, something very helpful for me the day Micaiah was born was my sister-in-law messaged me the app that she uses. It tracks nursing, like how long you nurse for, how long it's been, and what side you started with the previous time. Wet and dirty nappies, sleep, how long they slept, how long their wake window has been. It has everything that you would need to track. In the hospital bed, Micaiah was probably 2 hours old, and I downloaded this app, and so I have tracked everything for the past 8 months since she has been born. I still track her wake windows, how long she naps, and the feeding, like how long it's been since she's fed, what side she fed from. So I'll put on the screen the app I use because that was really helpful for me. When it comes to having a newborn and dressing a newborn, Micaiah pretty much lived in zippers and footies, like the PJ onesies, every single day. I had a couple little outfits. I can't even remember the first time I put her in an outfit, other than like her coming home from the hospital outfit. She was probably like a month old when we like put her in something that wasn't a footy onesie. Footy sounds funny to me because footy in Australia is football, but I know that's what you call it. My advice would be not to worry about a lot of newborn outfits unless you really want to. For me, we really didn't have that many and it was just very practical. She was in zipper footies basically every day. Gabe just got home.
You're not talking to me.
Even now, like some days she'll still just be in PJs all day. I do like to put her in an outfit, but the zipper footies, how many times can I say zipper footies, are the best. Something else I will say is that I feel like motherhood and being a mum definitely came naturally. Like I gave birth and maternal instincts kicked in, and I have grown up around babies. I have a really big family, so everyone has like had babies around me, but I feel like I haven't really looked after a newborn before. And I was 8 when my little brother was born, so I don't really remember much about having a newborn. So part of me was like, how am I going to be, especially holding someone else's newborn is always a little bit nerve-wracking than holding your own, and I really think it comes naturally. In saying that, I still Googled, I feel like I Googled something every single day, which can be bad. Call your doctor if something is worrying you. And then I obviously had my mum and my sister around. It just like comes naturally. It's really cool, except for breastfeeding. If you are breastfeeding, if you are like hoping to breastfeed when you have a baby, I do want to say that it does get easier. It was really hard for me in the beginning, and I was nervous around it, and it was like hard to latch, and it was painful, and engorgement, everything happened. It is so much easier now. I'm experiencing some biting that I'm trying to figure out. Other than that, breastfeeding is so much easier now. If there's anyone else who has kind of experienced this, I knew that I wanted to breastfeed. My supply has been good, so like I have been able to continue to exclusively breastfeed. And I feel like I gave myself this pressure of needing to keep up my supply, needing to keep pumping, like just in case of an emergency. And it's like this worry that I have in the back of my head of my supply like running out, or I don't know what it is. And if that is the case, there is formula, and as everyone says, like fed is best. So I guess that's something that I wasn't expecting, to have this like pressure in my brain, but I'm trying to deal with it. Everyone says you get really hungry and really thirsty, but the thirst for me was the worst. I didn't like need a snack in the middle of the night when breastfeeding, but I needed my water. I needed a lot of water next to me, and it's this feeling of like all the moisture and water in your body has left. It's such a bizarre feeling. I do get thirsty still a lot, but it was more in the beginning. It was like, oh, I need water. And so just make sure that you have a nice big water bottle, a big cup of water next to you at all times. I'm out running a couple errands. Just picked up a donut. It's so good. It's a paleo cinnamon donut. Delish. The next thing I will say is that the first couple weeks are so tough. Try not to expect to have any sort of rhythm or routine in those first couple weeks. Really just soak in the time at home with your baby. Now looking back, I miss those times because she was so tiny and she would like just cuddle and sleep on my chest. It's a really sweet time, but it's also a really big adjustment. Gabe and I had a couple conversations in those first few weeks because it was hard. We both had different expectations going into it, and I wish someone had told me that it's going to be really hard and you both might have different expectations. We didn't have anyone come over that wasn't family for the first couple weeks. Some friends might have come over when Micaiah was 3 or 4 weeks old, but just those first couple weeks, especially because it was quite tough. I only had my parents or my siblings come over, and they would help do my laundry or cook us meals or hold Micaiah so I could go for a nap or shower. I wanted to mention this before while I was having breakfast, but breakfast is really hard, and no one told me that breakfast would be one of the most difficult things. Recently I was taking a meal over to my friend who just had a baby, and we were talking about the fact that breakfast is the hardest thing to do. And it sounds so simple, even just like pouring a bowl of cereal takes 2 seconds, but it's so hard when you have a newborn. And so we were talking about how a meal train is like when you sign up to like deliver meals each night for someone who's just had a baby. There should be meal trains for breakfast, because breakfast is the hardest. If you could have some good snacks ready to go, even if it's just a banana, I think that would help. Things started to get a little easier at the 6 to 8 week mark. Micaiah was a really good sleeper and started sleeping through the night at 6 weeks. I'm not sure if that had something to do with it, but I feel like by that 6 to 8 week mark, you're like getting it more, and it just, things are a little easier. I think at the 8 week mark is when we finally ventured out to church for the first time. This is just sitting in my hand. The next thing I'll mention is gas. I feel like I was not prepared for that. And it makes sense. Baby's digestive systems are just not matured straight away. And so she was like often uncomfortable, and we would like do different things to try and get gas out or try to just like relieve some pain. And I really wish someone had told me that that was a common thing. On that same topic, because she struggled with that quite a bit, when a baby is crying, you want to check, are they hungry? Do they need to change their nappy? Are they sleepy? Like different things like that. Sometimes I'd burp disturb her and she would go straight back to sleep. And there was just like some gas bubbles, like some trapped gas or something like that needed to come out. Gabe has taken Micaiah out on their little daddy-daughter date that he just started doing. I think this is their second date that they've gone on. He's just taking her to a park for a little bit before our bedtime routine. The first thing I'll say is that you may have seen TikToks, if you're on the same like side of TikTok as me, where it's that like clip from Euphoria. I haven't seen it, but so I don't know their names, but the two people are like walking past each other. I'm assuming they broke up and they like nudge each other and just walk past and ignore each other. There's a lot of TikToks with that like video saying like that was me and my husband, or like me and my husband after our baby. It breaks my heart seeing those. Raising a baby is really hard, and I don't know, that I think that's just something that I remember I was worried about and would pray about, just like keeping our connection strong. I just want to say that for Gabe and I, it made us fall more in love with each other. Before having a baby, I was worried about our dynamic and how we would communicate with each other, and if we would just like bicker at each other because we're sleepy. For us anyway, it was something that definitely brought us closer together. We do work as a team, and having a baby definitely creates distance. It's obviously not just you and your partner anymore. That distance made us want more time together and want like quality time together. Even if it was just like whispering to each other when we're in bed, we like craved little moments like that. On the other side of that, I guess, I feel like I already mentioned this briefly, but it's really important to communicate your needs to your partner. That's something that I definitely could have been better at. I think sometimes it's easy to expect something from your partner. Sometimes they just need to be told like, hey, I really need help in this area. Very crucial to exactly communicate what you need, and just try not to think, why aren't they coming to help me? Or like, can't they see that I need help and that I need them to do this for me? The next thing is balance, which I guess I kind of assumed would happen, but probably not to the extent that I've struggled with it. Balance in general, it's work balance, mom balance, still investing in my own friendships, balance with our marriage, and so just balance as a whole has been difficult, something I still haven't completely figured out. We're making our dinner, making steak in the air fryer.
I'm here as well, everyone. Thank you.
Something I didn't expect was how loud she would be. Like, she was such a loud sleeper in the beginning. It also made me paranoid. I don't know if you remember. She was also right next to me.
Yeah, no, I do remember that. She would just be like grunting in the middle of the night.
Grunting. Yeah. I even like wanted to ask my doctor about it. She was totally fine and normal. She was just a loud sleeper. I would wake up at the slightest noise, but that's also probably because like it's so new. You have this new baby that you're like going to wake up to anything. Speaking of sleep, I just want to say that sleep is going to be a roller coaster of emotions. No, but really a roller coaster. You will have some really, maybe some good weeks of like, oh my gosh, she is such a good sleeper. And then a regression might hit, and then it's just going to be constantly up and down, I feel like, because we just went through our second little regression.
I feel like it's the fifth, though, is the thing.
It's not, babe.
That's how much of a roller coaster it is. We've had 2 regressions, and I feel like it's been like the 17th one.
17. But you will sleep again. Amen?
Amen.
You will get sleep again, even though it'll be really hard in the beginning. And it honestly feels like this is how life is going to be forever. It's just seasons, and I promise you, you will get sleep again. And when you do, you will wake up and be like, wow.
I am a new woman.
I am a better wife when I have sleep. I am a better mum when I have sleep. It will really make such a difference. This one is really random, but I learned what her cries meant. Did you ever learn like, oh, that's her hungry cry, that's her tired cry?
Yes. I would more so know when she was crying based off of like the time schedule.
Tracking.
Yeah, not so much. She would go, wah, or wah, and then I would know, you know what I mean?
Yeah. That was more when she was younger. Not that she's old, she's 8 months old, but when she was more of a newborn, that is when I was able to start to like tell what her cries meant. The next thing on my list is that a night routine helped so much with Micaiah's sleep. We started this when she was a newborn. I feel like it just really helped her learn that it was like her night routine and it was time to get ready for bed. So we like to do a feed, bath, book, and bed. Ever since she was really little, I would play one of my dad's albums on Spotify. He has 2 albums that we've played that are kids instrumental music, and ever since she was pretty much home from the hospital, we would play this one every single night. Even now to this day, she knows what it is when it turns on, so I'll start playing the whole album when we start the bath routine, like when I'm changing her and stuff, and she just knows, it's time for the bath. Gabe has been reading like a little kid's Bible to her, or we have a bunch of storybooks. Creating like a really solid night routine that we are consistent with, I feel like really helped her with her sleep. Another thing that I did in the beginning was, when I was still waking up multiple times to feed her, is I would keep the room really dark. I think what I used to do was turn our ensuite light on and crack open the door a little bit just to let a little bit of light in. Otherwise I could pretty much not see what I was doing. Another thing that we did know going into it, but really it's important to just like really understand, is how little of your own time you'll have. Now that she is sleeping through the night and going to bed early, we have this time to have dinner and hang out, read before we go to sleep, but in that beginning stage, it's really hard. Something else I thought I would add into this video is cradle cap. I feel like it's not something that's like super talked about, but Micaiah had probably a mild case of cradle cap. It sort of looks like dandruff all over the head. Some babies can get it pretty bad. Micaiah had it for a while and I thought maybe it would just go away. And then I got this on Amazon. It's a Frida baby brush, and it has like instructions on how to use it, but I used this once and it was gone. So cradle cap is super easy to deal with from our experience, and I would definitely recommend this. Speaking of showing this though, don't feel pressured to buy all the things. I think even being pregnant and wanting to have everything organized and everything ready, you can easily fall into this trap, especially with Pinterest and Instagram and all, like so many mums posting links of amazing things. It's easy to fall into a trap of feeling like, I need that for my baby. But if you just remember like the essential things, nappies and wipes, first aid stuff, I think that is good and important. This, for example, I think would be great to add to a registry, but if you don't have it, don't worry. I think it's something that you could go pick up at Target or order and get in 2 days on Amazon. So even though there is a lot of products being thrown at you on social media, just remember that you don't need it all. Just stick with the basics. Even if you're pregnant right now, you don't need to get everything straight away. Even with nappies, for example, you don't need to get all the sizes and all the right amounts. If you don't have enough newborn nappies, you can Amazon or have someone go to the store for you and get more or the next size up. A lot of people can be really fast to throw out negativity. Becoming a mother has been the best and really has filled me with so much purpose, and I love it so much. So I just wanted to say that as some encouragement, but at the same time, it is really difficult. You will have some really hard days. It's a hard transition, and I would really encourage you to ask for help. I think that's really hard, whether you're asking someone like, hey, yes, I would really appreciate it if you came and did my laundry, and especially in those first few weeks when eating is difficult, doing your laundry, making your bed is difficult. If anyone offers to help, I really want to encourage you to take it, even if that means they come over and hold your baby for a little bit so you can take a break or eat a banana. Being able to become parents alongside Gabe has really been the best season of my life. I love it. I love it so much. So I hope you guys are doing good. I'll leave another mum related video on the screen if you are interested. Otherwise, I'll see you next time.